Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're taking it back with another throwback breakdown. And yep, we're diving right back into the saga that is trustee Tiffany Henyard. Now, let me be clear. The purpose of these videos, it's to zoom out and really get a full picture of how Dolton's politics and local leadership created the perfect storm for someone like Tiffany Henyard to rise up and grab the mayor's seat. And when I say got the shot, let me explain. I'm not talking about black women not deserving leadership roles. That's not the message. What I am saying is, certain people, and yes,
why I gotta have all this controversy? Why I gotta have all this back and forth with my board? For what?
Ain't no stopping us now.
No, God, please, no, no!
When I put you in your seat, trustee house, trustee Belcher, never would have been a trustee. I the one made it possible for you guys to sit where you are now. And all I want to do is help the people. That's it.
Includes Tiffany Henyard, should have never been handed this kind of platform. Why? Because all this chaos, all this mess, all these scandals, they don't just happen around her. No baby, they follow her. Like glitter at a kid's party. You can't shake it. It's always there. Alright y'all, buckle up. We're about to dig into another wild episode in the Dolton saga. Today's spotlight, trustee Tiffany Henyard. And look, let me just get this out the way. This series is about breaking it all down. The decisions, the leadership, the drama, and most of all, the people who let it all slide long before the chaos ever reached the surface. Now listen, when I say women, like Tiffany should have never been given this kind of opportunity. I'm not talking about black women not being capable. Not at all. What I am saying is, some people just aren't built for this type of responsibility. And Tiffany Henyard, she proves that every time she opens her mouth. Every headline, every controversy. It's not just following her, it's attached to her hip like a sidekick. Dolton trust, leadership ain't for everybody. Especially not for folks who wouldn't qualify to manage a Wendy's. Let alone an entire town. Now, on the flip side, let's talk about trustee Tammy Brown. Baby, Tammy Dunn admitted she don't even read. Read? How are you voting on policies? When you're not even reading them, that means somebody is spoon-feeding her those votes. Press yes, Tammy, and she does it. That's puppet behavior. And it's scary. So now, let's rewind back to the board meetings from 2014, before Tiffany Henyard became mayor, back when she was just a trustee herself. Even then, the red flags were waving in HD. And she wasn't alone, oh no, she was rolling deep with Robert Hunt and Stan Brown. I call them the Chaos Crew. Because anytime there was a big vote, you could count on them three voting in sync like it was rehearsed. First on the docket, budget talk. And this man, Stan Irving, the village administrator at the time, he had ideas. His plan, cut spending. Okay, cool. Until he gets bold and suggests giving himself a raise in the same breath. Yeah, this man tried to slash positions, left and right, then said, oh, by the way, can y'all bump me up from $78,000 to $100,000 real quick? The audacity. He even handed out a document with his own signature at the bottom like it was a menu. Let's eliminate the $55,000 admin assistant. Hire someone part-time at $12 an hour. Then go ahead and toss me an extra $2. Okay, sir. Be serious. But wait, it gets better. This same Stan Irving eventually got fired. Want to know why? Alleged inappropriate behavior, including sexual harassment. And you know what makes it worse? He'd already been fired from not one, but two previous jobs before even landing in Dolton. Benville and Westchester said, nah, we good. But somehow, Dolton said, come on in. No background check. No due diligence. Nothing. That's how we ended up here. I found an old Tribune article at my friend's house. Flipping through the paper like, wait, this guy, it's wild. Like how is this man still cashing checks on our dime with that cloud of accusations over his head? And while all that was happening, the firefighters in Dolton were being worked to the bone. Now this wasn't just a Tiffany problem. This issue goes back to before she had the mayor title. The fire department was overworked, understaffed, and completely disrespected. They weren't just yelling into the void, they were filing real grievances because their collective bargaining agreement was being violated on a regular basis. We're talking 3 back-to-back 24-hour shifts. That's 72 hours straight. No breaks, no real rest, just chaos. Now I know someone's gonna say, well, they're not fighting fires every second of the day. Yeah, but during storm days or high call periods, they don't sleep. They're up all night, running calls, then expected to keep going the next day and the next. Fatigue is very real. And then you had trustees asking, well, are they counting the days they actually responded to calls, or just the days they were at the station? Ma'am, does it matter? They're still locked in for 24 hours straight. Whether the alarm rings or not, they're on the clock ready to respond. Anyway, this is just part 1. And it already tells you everything you need to know about how this mess was set up long before Tiffany took center stage. So don't go anywhere because the receipts. Oh baby, we've got stacks of M dots, so here's what went down. Trustee Sabrina Smith started questioning the firefighters about their fatigue grievances, and honestly, it was wild. She was basically implying that since they're not physically out battling flames non-stop, their exhaustion isn't valid. Like, excuse me, you don't need to be dragging a hose through a burning building every minute to feel burned out after a 72-hour shift. Just being at work for that long is draining, mentally and physically. And the fire chief tried to explain that to said they're getting calls all night long. They might lay down at 10 p.m. and get calls at 11, midnight, 2:30 in the morning. That fire from last week, they were out there at 2:30 a.m., came back at 7, and had to keep working the rest of the day. That's real fatigue. So when Sabrina kept pushing, like, is this because they're actually out fighting fires, or just because they're on the clock? It was giving tone deaf, because whether they're saving lives or just staying alert for the next emergency, that's still work. They can't leave. They're missing family time, birthdays, rest, all because the system is overworking them and not listening when they say, we're tired. And let's not forget how differently Tiffany Henyard treated these same firefighters. They came forward saying, hey, our insurance isn't paid. Our retirement funds are being taken. Our workers' comp claims are being ignored. And how did Tiffany respond? Cold as ice. Okay, thank you. Next speaker. Like their lives weren't, literally, on the line. Now, fast forward to a whole different mess. Trustee Pearson, stepping up and calling people out for padding their own budgets while slashing everyone else's. He straight up said, why don't y'all cut your own salaries? And one of them actually tried to say, I cut mine. But here's the truth. Trustee Robert Hunt was trying to increase the training budget by $4,000 per trustee, on top of the $13,000 they already get with zero accountability. No receipts, no questions, just free taxpayer money floating around. That right there, that's the foundation Tiffany Henyard walked into. She didn't invent the wasteful spending, she just inherited it from the original trio, herself, Hunt, and Stan Brown. They were already spending taxpayer money like Monopoly cash. So when Pearson called it out, you could literally hear Tiffany trying to downplay it in real time, asking, why would we spend $4,000 more? Like, girl, you tell us, because from where we're sitting, it looks like y'all were never thinking about the people, just yourselves. From the very beginning, this whole thing felt like a classic don't look behind the curtain, mesquias, on full display. What really had me doing a double take was when they tried to squeeze an extra $4,000 into the budget just for trustee trainings. And the gag is, this came right after Mayor Tiffany Henyard made it very clear that she wasn't about to pay for hotel stays at the IML conference. She straight up told trustees to either swipe their credit card or come out of pocket, bragging about how she commuted herself since the event was only 15 minutes away. But then boom, she randomly announces, there's now a trustee expense account with $5,000 for each of them that just magically became available. So wait, y'all didn't even have access to funds before this moment. Meanwhile, when Tiffany was a trustee, she racked up over $13,000 in training expenses and never had to show a single receipt. Make it make sense. The hypocrisy was loud. A lot of folks believe she ran for mayor just to get back at how she was treated before, and maybe there's some truth to that. But the irony, she ended up copying the exact behavior she once complained about. If you line up board meetings from then and now, side by side, it's like watching a remix. People yelling over each other, cutting off mics, denying speaking time, playing games with the agenda. It's a whole power grab in real time. At one meeting, a trustee had their agenda items randomly removed by the mayor, only for them to be quietly re-added later. Like, why? When I asked why my agenda items were taken off, nobody gave a real answer. I even copied Attorney Murphy. On the email crickets, the only excuse they gave was, oh, we didn't want to talk about Chief Collins. Okay, but what about the other two agenda items? No explanation. And when I pushed for clarification on how to submit items going forward, all I got was, we're moving forward. Translation, sit down and shut up. Then when it came time for public comments, the mayor basically shut the whole thing down and said, I'm not the boss of anybody, but I am the leader of this town and I run these meetings. Oh, okay then. So if she wants to move on, then that's it. No debate, no questions, no transparency. And honestly, the way she said it sounded exactly like the last mayor. That same tone, same dismissive attitude, same I said what I said energy. I even made a video comparing their phrases and mannerisms. She really borrowed whole lines from that man's playbook. The only difference, from what I can see in the footage, the previous mayor didn't go spending money, like it was Monopoly cash. So while the missenses and ego felt familiar, the reckless spending, that's all Tiffany. Anyway, that's it for today. Y'all, if you want more throwback footage or deep dives from past board meetings, drop a comment below. And if you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Mama loves y'all. Yes, she do.